Crossing the Chasm by Geoffrey A. Moore. In Crossing the Chasm, Geoffrey A. Moore delivers a transformative guide to navigating the perilous gap between early market success and mainstream adoption for innovative technologies. The chasm represents the treacherous void separating visionary early adopters from pragmatic mainstream customers. Your challenge is to build a bridge across this divide, shifting your focus from enthusiasts who love innovation to skeptics who demand proof. The journey demands discipline, precise targeting, and strategic marketing that speaks directly to the needs of mainstream buyers. This book isn't about creativity for creativity's sake. It's a roadmap for transforming a breakthrough idea into a profitable, scalable enterprise. Every decision you make will determine whether you soar over the chasm or plummet into irrelevance. Moore arms you with the strategies to cross that gap, emphasizing laser focus on specific market segments and delivering undeniable value to the right customers at the right time. Lesson 1. Know your early adopters. Early adopters are the critical bridge between the untested and the mainstream, but they are not the foundation of sustainable success. These individuals are inherently drawn to novelty, eager to embrace innovation even in its imperfect state. Their willingness to explore emerging technology or ideas fuels initial momentum, yet their behavior differs fundamentally from the pragmatists who comprise the majority of any market. Geoffrey Moore, in his influential book Crossing the Chasm, illustrates this dynamic vividly. He likens early adopters to the adventurous enthusiasts who embraced automobiles in their infancy. These pioneers marveled at the invention's potential, undeterred by its unreliability or the absence of supporting infrastructure. In contrast, the majority of society remained skeptical, unwilling to trade their horse-drawn carriages for a machine that demanded paved roads, gas stations, and predictable performance. Only when those practical needs were met did the automobile transition from a niche curiosity to a transformative cornerstone of modern life. This distinction is essential because early adopters, while valuable, represent a small and often transient segment of your market. Their enthusiasm can mislead you into believing that initial success guarantees widespread adoption. History is filled with innovations that captured early excitement but failed to evolve for the broader audience. Consider Google Glass, a technological marvel that attracted early adopters intrigued by its futuristic capabilities. Despite its initial buzz, the product struggled to appeal to the mainstream due to concerns about privacy, practicality, and design. Google's failure to address the needs of the more cautious majority resulted in a product that ultimately faded from relevance. Your challenge is twofold. First, identify and engage your early adopters effectively to build traction. These individuals are your advocates, often providing invaluable feedback and generating buzz. Use their energy to refine your product, service, or idea. However, you must simultaneously prepare to pivot and address the demands of the pragmatists who dominate the market. This shift requires a keen understanding of their priorities, reliability, ease of use, and tangible benefits. Without this transition, your innovation risks becoming a passing trend, admired but not adopted. A historical example of navigating this transition successfully is the personal computer revolution. In the 1980s, early adopters were hobbyists and tech enthusiasts who reveled in the complexity and potential of personal computers. Companies like Apple and IBM recognized that to achieve mainstream success, they had to simplify their products, improve reliability, and educate the public on their practical applications. By addressing these broader concerns, they transformed personal computing from a niche interest into a ubiquitous necessity. The lesson is clear. Early adopters are crucial for gaining initial momentum, but their needs and behaviors differ from the larger audience you must ultimately win over. Never mistake their excitement for long-term viability. Instead, build your launch strategy on their energy while keeping your focus on the mainstream market. Refine, adapt, and pivot as necessary to address the needs of the majority. Sustainable success depends on your ability to bridge the gap between the early enthusiasts and the pragmatic masses. Lesson 2. Target a beachhead. The key to overcoming the gap between early adopters and the mainstream is to focus your efforts on one specific target market and dominate it fully. Geoffrey Moore illustrates this with the metaphor of a military beachhead, drawing from the Normandy landings in World War II. Success in such a high-stakes operation depends on securing a narrow, strategic position before advancing outward. The Allied forces knew they couldn't liberate Europe in one sweeping move. Instead, they concentrated their resources on a single, focused objective, establishing a secure foothold in Normandy. Once this was achieved, they were able to expand their operations systematically, using their initial success as a foundation for greater victories. This principle applies just as powerfully in business and innovation. When launching a new product or service, chasing a broad audience might seem like the fastest path to growth, but it almost always leads to diluted resources and fractured messaging. Instead, you must pick a single, clearly defined market, your beachhead, and focus relentlessly on solving their problem better than anyone else. By doing so, you demonstrate your product's value in a tangible, measurable way, build trust with a loyal customer base, and establish credibility that will ripple outward to larger audiences. Take Steve Jobs as a prime example. When introducing the Apple Macintosh, he didn't aim to appeal to everyone immediately. Instead, he targeted graphic designers and creative professionals, a niche that deeply valued the Macintosh's superior design and usability. By addressing their needs completely, Jobs created a loyal and influential group of advocates who helped propel Apple into broader markets. This strategy is not just about securing an initial foothold, it's about building a foundation for sustainable growth. Consider Amazon's beginnings as an online bookstore. Jeff Bezos didn't attempt to sell everything from the start. He honed in on books, dominating that niche and perfecting the systems required for efficient online retail. Only after proving his concept and creating a reliable infrastructure did he expand into other product categories. Today, Amazon's reach is nearly universal. But that dominance started with a narrow focus and a disciplined approach. The danger of ignoring this principle is clear. Companies that attempt to appeal to everyone too early often spread themselves too thin, failing to resonate with any one audience. Look at the rise and fall of countless startups that launched with broad ambitions but collapsed under the weight of unproven strategies and fragmented markets. Without a solid foundation, their efforts to scale quickly turned into unsustainable chaos. Your task is straightforward but requires discipline. Choose one niche, a specific audience or vertical, where you can solve a pressing problem completely. Whether it's healthcare, education, or creative industries, commit fully to understanding and addressing their unique challenges. Let your initial success create momentum, build credibility, and provide the proof of concept you'll need to expand into larger markets. Don't scatter your efforts across too many targets. Instead, channel your resources into securing and solidifying your beachhead. In doing so, you'll establish a platform for long-term success, just as history's most transformative leaders and organizations have done. Lesson 3. Deliver a whole product. Mainstream customers are not interested in potential or possibilities. They demand a complete, polished solution that addresses their needs from start to finish. Geoffrey Moore emphasizes this in his whole product concept, which underscores that a promising product alone is insufficient. The market expects more than raw innovation. It demands a cohesive experience with no gaps in usability, functionality, or support. Early adopters might tolerate flaws or incomplete features, but the mainstream expects reliability, user-friendliness, and a seamless experience from the outset. If your product fails to meet these expectations, it will be dismissed, no matter how innovative it might be. The history of early tablet computers offers a striking example. Before the iPad, several companies introduced tablets with groundbreaking hardware, yet they failed to gain traction. Why? These products lacked the cohesive ecosystems that mainstream users required. Their interfaces were clunky, support was limited, and there was little in the way of compatible software or content. Apple succeeded where others failed by delivering the iPad as a whole product. From its intuitive interface to the App Store's rich ecosystem of apps and media. Apple left no gaps in the user experience. The iPad was not just a device, it was an integrated solution designed to make adoption effortless and rewarding. This attention to the whole product turned what had been a niche idea into a global phenomenon. Your task is to adopt this mindset. Begin by analyzing every touchpoint in your customer's journey. Where might they encounter friction, confusion, or unmet needs? Anticipate these barriers and eliminate them proactively. For example, if you're developing a software product, don't just deliver the code. Provide detailed documentation, intuitive onboarding tools, and responsive customer support. Consider the broader ecosystem your product operates within. If additional services, hardware, or expertise are required, either build them in or collaborate with partners who can fill those gaps seamlessly. The customer should experience your product as a single, unified solution, not a collection of parts they must piece together themselves. Consider Tesla as another example of a company that mastered the whole product concept. Electric vehicles existed long before Tesla, but they were plagued by gaps that deterred mainstream adoption. Tesla didn't just build cars, it addressed the entire ecosystem of electric driving. The company created supercharger networks to eliminate range anxiety, developed over-the-air software updates for continuous improvement, and provided a direct-to-customer sales and support model that simplified the buying process. Tesla succeeded because it recognized that the product isn't just the car, it's the entire experience of owning and using it. The importance of delivering a whole product extends beyond tech industries. Think of IKEA, which provides not only affordable furniture but also in-store childcare, detailed instructions, and delivery services. These additions ensure that customers can complete their projects without feeling overwhelmed or unsupported. IKEA has built an entire ecosystem around its furniture, which makes the brand synonymous with accessible home improvement. Your takeaway is clear. Do not settle for offering only a promising product. Think comprehensively. Anticipate your customers' every need and ensure that your solution addresses them all, leaving no room for frustration or uncertainty. Collaborate with others if necessary to fill gaps, but ensure the final experience feels complete and effortless. When you deliver a whole product, you remove barriers to adoption and make your offering not just desirable but inevitable. Lesson 4. Build the right partnerships. Crossing the chasm is never a solo journey. To bridge the gap between early adopters and the mainstream market, you must form strategic partnerships that provide resources, credibility, and expanded market access. Geoffrey Moore underscores this point by illustrating how partnerships have been critical to the success of some of the world's most influential companies. Microsoft offers a quintessential example. The company didn't achieve dominance by operating in isolation. It forged alliances with hardware manufacturers, ensuring its Windows operating system became the standard pre-installed software on countless PCs. These partnerships amplified Microsoft's reach and entrenched its products as indispensable, effectively locking competitors out of the market. Strategic partnerships can multiply your impact in ways you could never achieve alone. Consider Salesforce, which not only built a revolutionary customer relationship management (CRM) platform, but also cultivated an entire ecosystem around it. By aligning with developers and consultants, Salesforce expanded its functionality through third-party apps and tools while simultaneously creating a network of advocates who propelled its adoption. This ecosystem wasn't just a bonus, it became a cornerstone of Salesforce's success, as customers could access a comprehensive suite of solutions tailored to their needs. Partnerships turned a single software product into an indispensable resource for businesses across industries. The key to effective partnerships is alignment. Choose collaborators who share your vision and bring complementary strengths to the table. Partnerships aren't about duplication, they're about synergy. Look for allies whose capabilities enhance your offering or address gaps you cannot fill alone. For instance, when Tesla was scaling its electric vehicle operations, it partnered with Panasonic to produce high-quality batteries at scale. This collaboration allowed Tesla to focus on vehicle design and manufacturing, while relying on Panasonic's expertise to ensure consistent, reliable energy solutions. The result was a win-win that advanced both companies and accelerated the electric vehicle industry as a whole. Building the right partnerships also requires a shift in mindset. Let go of pride or the illusion of total control. Many organizations falter because they resist collaboration, fearing a loss of autonomy or a dilution of their brand. This narrow thinking undercuts opportunities for growth. History demonstrates that the companies most willing to embrace partnerships often achieve the greatest impact. Even Apple, a company known for its tightly controlled ecosystem, has relied on partnerships at critical junctures, whether working with app developers to expand its platform or collaborating with suppliers to ensure the highest standards for its hardware components. Strategic alliances do not diminish your brand, they amplify it. On the other hand, the wrong partnerships can be costly. Misaligned visions, conflicting priorities, or unreliable collaborators can derail progress and damage your reputation. Due diligence is essential. Evaluate potential partners carefully, ensuring they not only offer the resources or expertise you need, but also share your commitment to quality and long-term success. A rushed or poorly considered alliance can do more harm than good. Your path forward is clear. Identify where partnerships could enhance your offering, extend your reach, or mitigate risk. Whether it's joining forces with established players to gain credibility or working with niche experts to fill specific gaps, the right alliances will be instrumental in scaling effectively. Collaboration isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strategy. Harness the strengths of others to propel your vision forward. The right partnerships could be the difference between bridging the chasm to the mainstream market or fading into obscurity. Lesson 5. Focus on pragmatists. Mainstream customers, particularly pragmatists, are fundamentally different from early adopters. They are cautious, analytical, and risk-averse. Pragmatists crave reassurance and tangible proof before committing to any new product or technology. Unlike early adopters, who are driven by excitement for innovation, pragmatists demand evidence that your solution works and delivers measurable value. Geoffrey highlights this critical audience in Crossing the Chasm, explaining how pragmatists represent the majority of the market and hold the key to scaling your business. Winning their trust requires a shift in strategy, one that prioritizes credibility, results, and risk mitigation. Pragmatists often won't act until they see others succeed first. This tendency was evident during the early days of enterprise technology adoption. Organizations were hesitant to invest in new systems until trusted brands validated their use. The rise of cloud computing is a prime example. Despite its potential, many companies were skeptical of cloud-based solutions until industry leaders like Netflix and General Electric demonstrated their scalability and reliability. These high-profile success stories provided the proof pragmatists needed, transforming cloud computing from an experimental concept into a corporate necessity. Pragmatists rely on precedent. They want to know that others have tested the waters and emerged unscathed before they take the plunge themselves. To win over pragmatists, you must shift your messaging from possibilities to outcomes. These customers aren't interested in bold visions or hypothetical scenarios. They care about results. Speak their language by focusing on concrete evidence like case studies, measurable ROI, and testimonials from respected peers within their industry. Show them how your product or service has solved real-world problems and delivered tangible benefits. For example, if you're selling software, present data showing how it reduced costs, improved efficiency, or increased revenue for other organizations similar to theirs. Pragmatists need to see themselves in your success stories, which means your examples must be relevant, specific, and credible. Additionally, pragmatists are highly attuned to risk. They will scrutinize every aspect of your offering to ensure it won't disrupt their operations or jeopardize their reputation. Your job is to anticipate their concerns and address them head-on. Offer guarantees, trial periods, or other forms of reassurance to reduce perceived risks. Highlight the stability, reliability, and support systems behind your product. Pragmatists value dependability above all else. So make sure your messaging emphasizes these qualities at every turn. Take inspiration from companies like Salesforce, which succeeded in crossing the chasm by building trust with pragmatists. Early on, Salesforce leaned heavily on case studies and endorsements from well-known businesses to demonstrate its CRM platform's effectiveness. The company's focus on measurable results and its ability to mitigate customer concerns through robust support and scalability positioned it as a reliable partner for the mainstream market. Similarly, Tesla's efforts to win over pragmatists involved offering extensive warranties, building a network of service centers, and showcasing the long-term cost savings of electric vehicles through detailed analyses. These strategies addressed the doubts of cautious buyers and paved the way for broader adoption. The lesson is clear. Pragmatists are the gatekeepers to the mainstream market, and their trust must be earned. Your approach should be grounded in evidence, not aspiration. Focus on delivering proof of success, reducing risk, and building confidence in your solution. Speak directly to their needs, alleviate their concerns, and provide the reassurance they demand. Pragmatists don't buy dreams, they buy results. If you align your strategy with their expectations, you'll not only win their business, but also lay the foundation for sustained growth in the larger market. Lesson 6. Nail the marketing message. Crafting the right marketing message is not optional. It's the foundation of your success. A poorly targeted or generic campaign wastes precious resources and risks alienating the very audience you aim to attract. Geoffrey stresses this point in Crossing the Chasm, explaining how the mainstream market requires not only a great product but also a clear, precise articulation of its value. Your message must cut through the noise and address the specific pain points of your audience with laser-focused clarity. Without this precision, even the most innovative product will struggle to gain traction. Your marketing message begins with a deep understanding of your target audience. Mainstream customers are not swayed by abstract claims or lofty ideals. They want to know exactly how your product solves their problems and improves their lives. Tesla provides a powerful example of how messaging can redefine a product category. Electric vehicles were once seen as niche and utilitarian, appealing to eco-conscious consumers willing to sacrifice performance and style for sustainability. Tesla shattered that perception by crafting a narrative that emphasized performance, luxury, and innovation. By showcasing electric cars as not only environmentally friendly but also fast, sleek, and desirable, Tesla expanded its appeal to a much broader audience. The result wasn't just a shift in how Tesla was perceived, it redefined the entire electric vehicle market. To replicate this success, you must analyze the values, priorities, and concerns of your audience. What keeps them up at night? What problems are they desperate to solve? What outcomes do they crave? Your marketing message must answer these questions with clarity and relevance. Avoid vague or overly technical language that fails to connect emotionally. Instead, focus on creating compelling narratives that resonate with your customers' deepest needs and aspirations. Every word should reinforce your understanding of their world and your commitment to making it better. Consider how Slack, the workplace communication platform, nailed its marketing message during its early days, instead of emphasizing features or technical specifications. Slack's messaging focused on the tangible benefits it delivered, making work life simpler, more productive, and even enjoyable. Its tagline, "Be less busy," encapsulated the core value it offered in a way that was both relatable and aspirational. By speaking directly to its audience's pain points, disorganization, inefficiency, and the stress of constant communication, Slack captured the attention of pragmatists and quickly became the go-to tool for workplace collaboration. Precision in messaging is essential because it builds trust. When your message aligns perfectly with your audience's concerns, it signals that you understand their needs better than anyone else. Generic or poorly targeted claims, by contrast, erode confidence. Customers want to feel seen and understood, not lumped into a broad, indistinct category. Take the time to test and refine your messaging until it resonates. Use case studies, testimonials, and data to back up your claims. People are more likely to believe your promises when they see proof from others like them. Every touchpoint, whether it's an ad, a landing page, or a sales pitch, should reflect your core message with consistency and precision. Each interaction is an opportunity to reinforce your credibility and address your audience's concerns. Inconsistent or scattered messaging confuses potential customers and undermines your efforts. Instead, craft a narrative that flows seamlessly across all channels, ensuring that every piece of communication reinforces your value proposition. The lesson is clear. Your marketing message is not just words, it's a tool to build trust, inspire action, and differentiate your product in a crowded market. Speak directly to your audience's pain points, reflect their values, and prove your ability to deliver results. Avoid generic platitudes and focus on creating a narrative that makes your product indispensable. Precision wins trust, and trust drives adoption. Lesson 7. Control the narrative. In a crowded market, you must seize control of your story. Geoffrey Moore emphasizes that competitors and skeptics will actively work to undermine your credibility, and your response cannot be reactive, it must be proactive. When crossing the chasm, perception often outweighs reality. How your product or service is perceived by the mainstream audience can determine your success, regardless of the objective truth about its capabilities. Amazon offers a powerful example of this principle. During its early years, the company faced significant logistical challenges, yet its aggressive messaging focused on convenience and unmatched selection. This narrative helped Amazon dominate the e-commerce space by shaping public perception in its favor, even before the company had fully realized its operational efficiencies. By controlling the narrative, Amazon defined its value proposition on its own terms, effectively preempting criticism and marginalizing competitors. Your ability to control the narrative depends on two key elements: a bold vision and consistent messaging. First, lead with a compelling vision that captures the aspirations of your audience. Pragmatists and skeptics are more likely to trust you when you articulate a clear, ambitious goal that aligns with their values. However, a vision alone is not enough. Back your narrative with data, case studies, and tangible results that validate your claims. Evidence grounds your story in credibility, making it harder for competitors or skeptics to discredit you. Ensure every piece of supporting information reinforces the narrative you are driving. Each success story, testimonial, and statistic should tie directly to the value you promise. Consistency is equally critical. Mixed messages or frequent shifts in tone create confusion and erode trust. Every interaction with your audience, whether through marketing, customer service, or public relations, should reflect the same overarching story. Your competitors will seek opportunities to exploit inconsistencies, using them to sow doubt among potential customers. Don't give them that chance. Align your team, materials, and communications around a unified message that reflects your vision and value. A consistent narrative not only builds trust, but also amplifies your authority in the market. Controlling the narrative also requires boldness. Don't let competitors or circumstances dictate how your product is perceived. Take control by leading the conversation, addressing objections head-on, and showcasing your strengths proactively. Tesla, for instance, has consistently used its bold vision of sustainability and innovation to define its narrative, even in the face of criticism. By emphasizing the environmental impact of electric vehicles and the technological superiority of its products, Tesla has built a brand that commands loyalty and shapes perceptions, regardless of the challenges it faces. The lesson is clear. Perception becomes reality when you shape it with authority and focus. Don't allow your competitors or external circumstances to define your value. Instead, seize control of the narrative by leading with a bold vision, reinforcing it with data, and maintaining unwavering consistency. Your story is your most powerful asset. Craft it carefully, deliver it confidently, and make it the foundation of your success. Lesson 8. Measure and adapt. Crossing the chasm isn't a static effort. You must constantly assess what's working and what's failing. Geoffrey Moore underscores the importance of tracking adoption rates, customer satisfaction, and feedback to refine your approach. The process of bridging the gap between early adopters and the mainstream market is dynamic, requiring continuous evaluation and a willingness to pivot. IBM's transformation in the 1990s provides a compelling example. Faced with declining hardware sales and shifting customer needs, IBM recognized the growing importance of services over products. Instead of clinging to its hardware-centric model, the company pivoted to focus on consulting and IT services. This decisive shift not only saved IBM from potential obsolescence, but also positioned it as a leader in a rapidly evolving market. The lesson from IBM is clear: adapt or risk irrelevance. Your success depends on your ability to listen closely to the market. Every interaction with your customers is a data point, a signal that can guide your next move. Are your adoption rates plateauing? Are customers expressing consistent pain points that your product doesn't yet address? Are competitors outperforming you in specific areas? These questions can only be answered if you measure your progress meticulously. Collect feedback at every stage of the customer journey, from initial onboarding to long-term usage. Analyze patterns in customer satisfaction surveys, user behavior, and support inquiries. This data isn't just noise, it's a roadmap for improvement. Stubbornness is your enemy. Many organizations fail because they cling to strategies that no longer serve them, believing that persistence alone will eventually lead to success. This mindset ignores the reality of shifting market dynamics. Consider the downfall of Blockbuster, which refused to adapt to the rise of streaming and on-demand entertainment. While Netflix embraced change and innovated to meet evolving consumer preferences, Blockbuster's resistance to adaptation sealed its fate. Measuring and adapting isn't a sign of weakness, it's a hallmark of resilience and strategic thinking. Refinement doesn't just apply to your product, it extends to your messaging, partnerships, and overall approach. If a marketing campaign isn't resonating, change it. If a partnership isn't yielding the expected benefits, reevaluate it. If your product fails to address a critical need, improve it. The process of measuring and adapting must be ongoing, not sporadic. Even after crossing the chasm, the most successful companies continue to iterate, ensuring their relevance in an ever-changing landscape. The takeaway is simple but profound. Success requires vigilance, humility, and action. Measure your progress rigorously, listen to your customers, and let the data guide your decisions. Adaptation is not a sign of failure, it's proof that you're responsive to the needs of the market. Stubbornness may keep you stagnant, but a commitment to refinement ensures steady growth and long-term success. Your journey isn't fixed, it's a continuous evolution, shaped by how well you measure and adapt along the way. Conclusion: the chasm is a crucible that tests the strength of your product, vision, and strategy. Each lesson reinforces the importance of focus, clarity, and execution. Crossing the chasm requires disciplined targeting, relentless value delivery, and the courage to evolve. To succeed, you must treat your customers as collaborators, your competitors as benchmarks, and your strategy as a living entity that adapts to reality. For further insights, read The Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen and Blue Ocean Strategy by W. Chan Kim and Renee Melbourne. Both books complement Moore's principles by expanding on innovation and strategic positioning. The road to mainstream adoption is daunting, but the rewards are transformative. Take the first step, commit fully, and build a legacy. The end.